If there's one thing you should take away from this video today, it should be that this shirt that I'm wearing is from a brand called CC. So wild.
Want a lot, can't have everything, but I want everything.
Okay, so this, ooh. Okay, so this video is a little bit delayed due to moving. Isn't that wild? I only have some stuff left in here, but this is officially my last week in the apartment. It's quite bittersweet, but I said I was gonna do part 2 and I need to follow through on things. So here we go. In December, I sat down with my mom and I was at their house, my parents' house, for the holidays, and I was on my bed and I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to cry or something, because obviously we know that this whole year has been a struggle with, you know, job stability for some people. My job was definitely one of those where you got it, you lost it, you got it, you lost it. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I was always like really excited when I got my jobs back, but then there was a part of me that always knew that I wanted to go back to grad school. However, 2 years ago when oh my gosh, 3 years ago when I graduated college, I thought that I was ready to go to grad school. And so I was like studying as in I took one practice test and like bought the book. But I don't think I was truly ready. Like before, I had talked about the timeline of how people know when they're ready to do stuff. And unfortunately, that just wasn't for me at the time. So I took a few years, and you know, after this whole pandemic started, it started coming down to the wire where I had to decide whether I wanted to renew my lease or do something else with my life. And as much as I love this apartment, I realized that I can't have everything that I want. I mean, of course, a lot of people already know that, that you can't have everything you want, and sometimes you have to give up things to get other things. So my mom, she's like, if you need a place to come back and kind of regroup, like our house is open. And my parents have always been super generous about that. So January came around, and this is actually what kind of pushed me to make the decision, is that, oh, you gotta stop caring what other people think. Like, it just doesn't matter anymore. Unfortunately, some of my videos got deleted that I recorded like an hour ago, so I have to redo some of them. But basically what I said at this part is that I don't know if society has this view, or I just had this view, that if you lived by yourself, you were like up here. If you had roommates, they're like right below it. And if you lived with your parents, you were down here. And if you moved back in with your parents after living alone, you'd be regressing 2 steps, and that's just not true whatsoever. It has nothing to do with like your value, your worth. I know a lot of people who live with their parents, and you know what? I don't think any less of them. It's just, I would have this perception about myself, which is just insane that I would. I heard someone tell someone once that they were like, you live with your parents, you have nothing to offer someone. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, what even gives someone the right to tell someone else what they can offer someone? If they're not offering it to you, you can make no comment. Okay, let's go forward. Another reason why I wanted to do this video is because back when I was deciding whether or not to renew my lease in January, I Googled people moving home because it was something that kind of helped me cope with it. And I found this girl's video, and I don't know who she is really, but she's a little older than me, and she said that she just wasn't going to happen, that she kept her apartment and she lived by herself too. So she moved back home, and it is very true that there is this cutting feeling that you feel like almost like a failure if you have to move it back in from your parents and like regress. Just know that if you feel like you're taking a step back, it doesn't mean that you're gonna not move forward. Also, realize that if you get to go home, you are exceptionally blessed that you get to move home. This is something I constantly have to remind myself, that I am extremely lucky to move home. People don't have that option. Either it be out of, there's just not enough space, there's like too much distance between the parents and the person, and their job, whatever, or they just don't have the best relationship with their parents, whatever it may be. Just know that if you are capable of moving home, you are blessed in your own. So in regards with that, I'm extremely lucky. I also really broke it down as to why I was upset about moving home, and it really was out of pride and fear. A lot of the common themes throughout these videos are the fear of what other people would say about me, and the fear of letting people see me take that step back to regroup. And at the end of the day, I don't know what's happening to me, but I'm just like, I'm liking who I'm becoming quite a bit, to the point where things that used to matter to me just like don't matter to me anymore. Like followers, views, likes on something, quite honestly, they have no significant dwelling on who I am as a person. And I know that now, and it feels completely different. So if you eliminate the fear of like what people would think if you said that you moved home, if you're, whatever your reasoning is, or whatever your situation is, if you eliminated those fears, I feel like, I could be wrong, but for me personally, I felt like 100 times better, like 99% better. Let's say that. I'm not gonna do 100, but let's say you felt like 99% better because you just like didn't care what people think. And at the end of the day, you can't care what people think. If people are reacting negatively to you taking a step back to regroup, I feel like, and they're worrying more about your issues than their own, that says so much like about them. I used to do that a lot. I would deflect and like latch on to other people's issues because I didn't want to confront and deal with my own. Be confident in your decisions. I'm moving home. I'm totally fine with that. I've come to terms with it, and I'm confident about those decisions. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I am moving home because I'm confident in myself and I'm confident in my plan, and I know I have next steps coming. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't feel cut down by this decision. I did. I post these videos when I'm ready to talk about it and when I've dealt with the issue and I'm more confident in my decisions. But to be honest, when I found out that I was gonna be, when I found out, it's not like someone told me, I told myself, and I made the decision that I was gonna move home, I cried. I was really sad about it, and I had to deal with it. But, you know, looking at it quite thoroughly, this is not the worst thing that could happen. It may feel like a minor setback, but it does not define what I will do. It's a chance for me to regroup, get things together, and move forward with my life. This apartment is not the end goal for me. As much as I love this apartment, there's other things I want in my life, and I can't have both things right now. So I'd rather give up this thing, which feels like it would peak right at this moment, than waste my potential because I was too stubborn to be like, guys, I'm gonna be moving home, like switch address to my parents again, like not a big deal. Be confident in your decisions, figure out what your next steps are going to be, have that plan, and count your blessings. I know that seems so cliche to count your blessings, but I feel so much happier, and I constantly say that I'm happier, and it's because I do feel happier, because I now realize that the lows aren't the lows. I actually had this turning point the other day too, where I really get mad, and I tend to think that the things that I'm really mad about in that moment are the worst things that could happen, and honestly they're not. So, you know, the lows will lead to highs, and just because you're down right now doesn't mean you're gonna stay down forever. I had to shift, my foot was falling asleep. But okay, closing remarks is, okay, my foot is still falling asleep. We're doing this way. Okay. Closing remarks is, don't let people tell you your worth. Don't let people tell you what you can or cannot do. Do not let people make you feel bad about going home and regrouping, or whatever the reason you need to go home for. Don't let people make you feel bad about it. Be confident with yourself. And you know what? Like, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. What people say does not mean a thing. Okay. As long as you're happy with yourself and you know your path. If you don't know your path, get to know your path. Start outlining what you want. It's pretty cool.